Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Purport. The Mamonist philosophy of work very hard and enjoy sense gratification is condemned herein by the Lord. Therefore, for those who want to enjoy this material world, the above mentioned cycle of performing yagnas is absolutely necessary. One who does not follow such regulation is living a very risky life, being condemned more and more. By nature's law, this human form of life is specifically meant for self realization in either of the three ways, namely Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga. There is no necessity of rigidly following the performances of prescribed yagnas for the transcendentalist who are above vice and virtues. But those who are engaged in sense gratification require purification by the above mentioned cycle of yagna performances. There are different kind of activities. Those who are not Krishna conscious are certainly engaged in sensory consciousness. Therefore, they need to execute pious work. The yagna system is planned in such a way that sensory conscious persons may satisfy their desire without becoming entangled in the reaction of sense gratificatory work. The prosperity of the world depends not on our efforts but on the background arrangement of the Supreme Lord, directly carried out by the demigods. Therefore, the yagnas are directly aimed at particular demigod mentioned in the Vedas. Indirectly, it is the practice of Krishna consciousness because when one masters the performance of yagnas, one is sure to become Krishna conscious. But if by performing yagnas one does not become Krishna conscious, such principles are counted as only moral codes. One should not therefore limit his progress only to the point of moral codes, but should transcend them to attain Krishna consciousness. The sense of Bhaktivedanta purport. So another very instructive verse and a verse which has a lot of depth in each of its word. It's coming from the lotus mouth of Lord Shri Krishna. So it is said that whatever comes out of Krishna's body, it is all auspicious for us. It is all auspicious for the people of this material world. So these words which are coming out from the lotus mouth of Krishna is very, very purifying, is very, very powerful, and they have the potency to change our life. They have the potency to transform our existence. So if we deeply understand these words which are coming from Krishna's lotus mouth, then automatically what happens is we are coming in touch with Krishna. We are coming in touch with Krishna's mind. So when we come in touch with Krishna's mind, it is no different than coming in touch with Krishna directly. For us, if somebody comes in touch with our thought, he is not coming in touch with me because we are limited to our body itself. But Krishna is not limited to his body. He is unlimited in his nature. It means even the words which comes out of him has a power to connect us back to him. So these beautiful words which are coming from Krishna's lotus mouth, if we try to understand, if we try to spend time in what Krishna is trying to teach and trying to tell us, then we get touched by Krishna's special internal energy. We get blessed by Krishna's special potency which is there to make us more and more purify. So let us again spend some 15-20 minutes to understand that what Krishna is trying to talk about in this verse and how we can understand its deeper meaning and how we can derive some application out of it for our own benefits. So here Krishna is telling Evam pravartite chakram. Evam means already he's been explaining about the prescribed duties, about the sacrifices. Same thing he's telling about. Eva means already thus prescribed duties for you. Pravartitam. Pravartitam means they are not given anywhere else, but they are given in the Vedas. They are established by the Vedas. Pravartitam means established by the Vedas. This chakram means we have studied the sacrifice cycle in the last to last verse about how Krishna explained that if we perform yagna, then we have a rainfall, then from rainfall grain comes, and from grains we exist. That entire cycle he has explained in 14th chapter. The same cycle he is talking about again, this chakram. Evam pravartite chakram na anuvartati ihayaha. The na means they do not, anuvartati means they accept. The people who do not accept this cycle of yagna and they don't follow their prescribed duty established by the Vedas, then what happens to them? Aghayur. Aghayur means life full of sins. Ayuhu means life. We know Ayu. Ayuhu. Agha means tainted by something wrong. He's been tainted by sins. So life Ayuhu, which is Agha, he is living the life full of sins. Who is living the life full of sins? Who is not adopting the principles which are described in the Vedas, and he is not performing sacrifices, he is not performing his prescribed duties. Instead, what he is involved into? Because he is involved into Indriya Aramaha. You see this word Indriya Arama. Indriya means senses, and Arama means we are enjoying the senses. Mogam Partha Jivati. Mogam means he is simply uselessly wasting his life. So Krishna is telling here, the person who do not follow the prescribed duties and he is engaged in the gratification of senses, he is living a life of a sin, he is leading a life of a sin, and he is simply living uselessly. So that is what Krishna is concluding here in this verse, that if you do not perform sacrifice, if you do not perform the yagnas, if you continue leading your life for your own sense gratification, then you are not justifying the purpose of life which it is for given. So this performance of sacrifice is very important, and it is been incorporated in all of our life at some point of time or other, especially in the Indian culture, that to the lowest to the lowest level, at least people do some kind of rituals, people do some kind of sacrifices, people do some kind of austerity to live a happy life in this world itself. So many times what happens is we go to some astrologer and he would say that your Saturn is not working fine, your Jupiter is going haywire, your Mercury is debilitated, your moon is in bad shape. So all these different kinds of terminology they will use, and always they will recommend some kind of remedies, that you should do this on Thursday, you should go to Vishnu temple, you should donate this, and you should whole lot of different kind of remedies they suggest to the people. So there are some people who follow them, there are some people who get benefit also by following them. So that is a kind of sacrifice they are performing, but their sacrifice which they are performing is only for themselves. Is only for themselves to lead a happy life in this world. There are some sense of sacrifice, but the underlying principle is that I should be happy in this world. So if by performing this puja I am going to become happy, let me do that. If I doing that vrata I am going to be living peacefully in this world, let me do this. So the mood of performing that sacrifice is centered around one's own self. So but when a person slowly upgrading his understanding, slowly start upgrading himself, then he will come to a conclusion that this world is not giving me what I am looking for. I am looking for something which is permanent, and this Panditji will tell, oh, this is now certain period, you should do that, then some other period come, then that effect is not there. So this is a continuous chain which is going on, sometime happiness, sometime distress, sometime good, sometime bad, sometime good things, sometime not so good things, then what's going on? I should try to come out of it. So when this understanding dawns upon a person, then he start learning there are life which are existing on heavenly planets, which are existing on the Sargaloka. You can go to Sargaloka, you can go to different higher planetary systems where you can enjoy beautiful gardens, very huge lifespan, beautiful women, and wonderful cloth and wonderful food stuff and unrestricted sense enjoyment, and it's kind of eternal life, sense of eternity it gives to them. You can drink som rasa. By drinking that you become intoxicated, a very high level of intoxicated, wherein you can be intoxicant for years together at one shot. So when people start understanding about these higher planets existing, then we start performing sacrifice for that purpose. So that is one kind of upgradation. That yeah, from I upgrade myself from performing sacrifice only for this short term life, only for this lifetime. Then I start thinking beyond this life. I start thinking, oh, let me prepare for next lifetime. So in one sense, there is a kind of upgradation which has happened in person's consciousness. Then he start performing sacrifices for that reason. Then slowly he understand. He even enjoy the heavenly planet. He comes from there again. Again, it is a gradual understanding, gradual evolution, gradual development of conscious, which is happening lifetime after lifetime. So this first phase itself may take, I don't know how many lifetimes it may take. When I come out of my own self-centric ideas, it may take so many lifetimes. It's not easy to come out of like this. So once I've experienced that heavenly planet's life also, and I've been reading from scriptures that even they have a lot of problems, even they keep fighting, even Indra have a lot of issues, power issues, even Indra have to keep stealing somebody's horses from Ashwamedha Yagna so that he maintains his position and these kind of things. So he comes to this understanding, oh, this is also not good. Why am I struggling for something which again some kind of problematic life? Still I'm looking for something eternal, something very sustainable, something which does not have any flaw into it. But again, there are some flaws into it. So I should not, I should be looking for something higher. Then slowly what happens is a sense of philosophical quest start coming to a person. Then he start thinking there must be some other element in me. I have been thinking that I am this body, and I have been trying to enjoy the body itself, but it is not giving me happiness. So there is something else which I should be looking for in my life, which should be giving me real satisfaction. Then he come to this understanding that I am a spirit soul, I am Atma, I am not this body, and only the activity which are performed on the spiritual platform has a real potency to give me happiness. So when a person comes to this understanding, that is the beginning of his real spiritual life. And from that point onwards, he'll keep advancing. Because if you see in the whole stage, from the level of performing sacrifice for himself to the point of performing sacrifices for something higher knowledge, he has developed that habit of performing sacrifice. He's kind of has become used to give donations, or to do some kind of rituals, or to perform some kind of higher things. Some kind of that kind of mood has developed into that person. So having developed that sacrificial mood now becomes very, very important for a person who's trying to develop spiritually. So it becomes that asset, and slowly he start performing more and more sacrifices more intensely, but for different reasons now. For a reason to advance spiritually. So if you see this entire cycle, this entire you know, for what purpose the sacrifices for demigods, for what purpose the sacrifices for enjoying this material life is meant for. So Vedic literature's objective is not to make you stuck at that point. Vedic literature objective is to slowly upgrade you. Because people in this world want to enjoy sense gratification, people in this world wants to enjoy the life itself. So to enable them to do that without getting implicated into sinful activities, without them getting implicated into that bondage of karma, this sacrifice is introduced so that they can enjoy the life which we are trying to enjoy in this world, and slowly become disgusted out of it and understand that that is what not what I am supposed to be doing. Then slowly that is the whole plan of the entire Vedic literatures. So we should have this understanding always in our mind that what is the underlying principle. So underlying principle is to uplift our consciousness, uplift ourselves spiritually, is to go to different domain altogether. But since we are not ready to directly achieve it, that is why this has been designed in the Vedic literatures for us to follow that. Now there is a small story which narrates this point better. So what happens, once there was a king, and that king was a kind of fitness freak, health freak. He used to maintain his body like anything. He used to put a lot of hard work. He used to have a very regulated diet. He used to have massage over his body, and he used to have a fake wrestling matches, and whole he used to go around and on the horse, and so many physical fitness activity he was performing to keep his body fit. So but what happens, suddenly slowly his interest getting start his interest in this health fitness start getting lost, and he starting eating more, starting eating at a wrong time, don't want to do any work, start becoming very lazy. Then seeing the lifestyle, the habits of that king, the ministers becomes very worried, and doctor become very worried that what's gonna happen to king in the future. So they keep telling the king, no, you should follow restricted diet, and you should perform some kind of fitness activities, you should do some physical kind of workout, otherwise it is gonna be very troublesome for you. But that king somehow got adjusted to that kind of lifestyle which he didn't want to come out. So he announced in the kingdom that, see, I want a easy method to come out of it. I don't want this lengthy process. If somebody is there in my kingdom who can help me out without me doing anything, without me working hard, and I can be continue remaining fit, I'll give him a big amount of reward. And if he cannot do that, if he fails to do it, then I'm going to chop off his head. So because that was a condition that his head was gonna chop off, then nobody came out in the to help him. Then there was one gentleman known as Tenali Ram. I think you would have heard about him. So this Tenali Raman says that I'm gonna help him. I'm gonna do this task. Then what he does is he he speak to one astrologer. Then astrologer, and he speaks to him very confidentially. Then he says, then astrologer announces after reading his birth chart that after 1 month this king is going to die. So king become very scared. Oh, after 1 month I'm going to die. Then what's going to happen to me? Then he start becoming very worried, and he says that this astrologer should be put behind bars, and if his prediction is going wrong, then I'm going to kill him. Then anyways, that psychologically he has developed that feeling that I'm going to die after 1 month. Then he started becoming very worried, lot of anxiety, stop eating, he start losing weight, start becoming very thin. Then after 1 month, what happens? He didn't die, he continued living. Then he calls out that astrologer, oh, you predicted that I'm going to die, then but I'm still living. Then he says, one of these person, Tenali Ram, has told me to wrongly predict it. Because of that prediction, you have lost a lot of your weight, and you have again come back to the shape, and now you are healthy. So you see, the whole objective of him taking that anxiety was for some other reason. Similarly, Vedic literatures keep pointing out to for us to perform some kind of sacrifice so that we can achieve certain things in our life. But the underlying principle is it is been we have been given sugar coated medicines, and the objective is to cure ourselves, to cure our spiritual disease. As an objective for that king to cure his health disease, similarly for us objective is to cure our spiritual disease, and that starts by becoming little anxious about our material life and to start performing sacrifices. So this is what we can understand from this beautiful instruction of Krishna. So if anybody have any questions, any doubt, we can discuss about it. And I would request devotee to please type their realization, to type their important learning point in the chat section so that we can take away some learning points.